Wow, the past few weeks of my MPRC program have been a whirlwind. We have been doing testing and all kinds of testing. We've been to races. We've broke the personal best multiple times and we are going forward. It all really came together last Thursday when I finally set the fastest time on my GNSS right there, which is just fine because I know I've been faster on a track, but it felt great. But I won't rest until this thing shows 1.8. So that's what we're going to do. But before we can get to that, I want to show you guys exactly what is going on with the car right now, all the changes that we made, because it's not just the R1 power system that has got us there. There is a lot more going on with this baby. I'm Chad, this is the Dorky and 40 RC channel, and we are gonna make you faster today. First of all, huge shout out to all you guys. We're up to like 9,240 people, just super amazing. Proud to be a part of this large community that we have created. If you like what we're doing here, you can support the channel by buying something from Amazon with one of the links below. Or if you feel like you've learned something from these videos that I do, you can always tip me at the paypal.me link below as well. Now let's get started. Let's talk about this car. So the actual car is the key to everything. As I said, it's not just the R1 power system. I have worked tirelessly for the past couple months to reduce the weight of this car. We went from almost 3,000 grams, maybe a little over, to 2,400 grams, sometimes 2,380, depending upon what body I am running, whether I'm running the Vet or the Racer RC Mach 22. Now the Mach 22, as you can see here, is the actual body that I enjoy using the most. It's nice and rigid. I'm not using any of the body support systems or anything like that yet. Might invest in those here very soon. And of course, as you can see here, the body is running one of Gary's straight line spoilers. And this thing works as advertised. It's got the 0.2 Lexan spoiler in the back, so that way helps create a little bit more downforce, flex a little bit on you. And with the acrylic screws, you can see by these pictures here, beautiful because pop, you wreck, you don't break your body. As you can see, the screws just pop right out and you just replace them with new ones. So that's great. That's what we want to do, protect our body, because we get enough holes and damage on them already. Now, along with reducing the weight of the car, we have also dramatically changed the weight bias from the front of the car to the rear. I used to run a 60 to 62% weight in the back, 38% up front. Dramatically different now. Now we are looking at more of a 45 in the front and 55 in the rear split. I have not noticed any difference in the performance of the car, the way that it is working. This seems to be a good setup, and as you race on a track that has more traction, better surfaces, you are able to kind of move that bias a little bit more forward as well, and that kind of just helps with the whole front end stability thing. Now, if you take a look around the car closely from front to back here, you can see one of the things that I did besides totally changing the Breakout V1 here to basically, you can't even get this since we have the 3mm plate and different shock towers and single bar and everything else like that. You know, we got rid of all that unnecessary weight that we didn't need. We went to like good components and everything that we want up front. Started with the shortest shock tower that we can get on here without actually having to like get new shocks or anything like that. That saved us some weight. It's also thinner. That of course saved us some weight. And again, everything is great, aligned, really working on alignment and all that kind of stuff. I'm running at 1 degree toe out, and everything else here, camber stuff, 0. In the back, we're running 1 degree in. That's pretty much the magic pill combination that it comes with. I don't think you can really get any lower without doing something else. And of course, we're running 2 degrees in the back as well. And that's being assisted by the new transmission riser we can take a look at here. So if you take a look at the AE transmission, the transmission has actually been elevated by 9mm now. And what that is allow us to do is get that up and allow us to basically create a lot better of an angle there with our actual drive shafts and our dog bones. So when we're sitting, we're actually kind of sitting a little bit like that right there. So we have very limited travel in the back as well. Still using the real long buggy shocks back here in the back, switched to like custom work springs. The weight on those, I think they were a little bit more powerful, maybe a pound or two stronger than these custom works here that we were using before, the real long white ones. Also changed the springs in the front to their purples, which is really a lot stiffer spring compared to the red associated ones that I was running up there before. Same oils, 2K in the front and 60 in the rear. Now, along with that transmission riser, 5-star has included a low CG motor plate. And what that allows us to do is use bigger spur gears. So now we're using 96 spur. We could go up if we wanted to, but this 96 spur on here is working out super well. Now, one of the other cool things that we have here is lights. Yes, we put some lights on. We're actually going to put some more on, maybe here on the shock tower and in the front, because lights at nighttime are a very, very, very important thing so you can see your car. The only downside about it, of course, is if somebody else is, well, in my case, running red lights. That won't be that good. Running red lights actually is not a very good thing at all. Now, if we take a look here at the car, you're going to see that we do not have the large R1 cat pack on there. The big cat packs have kind of gone out of style since last year, now that we have big batteries that can handle and supply all the power that we need. We're running the R1 11,400 up here. I ran pretty good with the 15,000, but it's just a little too big for my needs. Who knows, maybe one of these days we might need that much milliamp hours, but for right now, the 11,000 on this like 2,400 gram car, I think is just perfect. And coming back and touching on the 2,400 gram mark, as I lowered my weight, I did notice that like my tuning envelope kind of increased. So if you added 5 degrees here, or if you changed a point number here or there or whatever, those changes were a lot more dramatic on the lighter car than on the heavier one. I know it sounds like common sense and stuff, but it's just kind of things, you know, at the beginning of the year, I thought that we could just up the motor and up the battery and just kind of power through these things. And I really just got nowhere. I was kind of just stuck until I started actually making extreme changes to the car. That is really when things started taking off. And one of the biggest places that I saved weight was actually here in the back. And now you can see that we're running 5 stars, single wheel wheelie bar. This thing has been great. It's worked out just as good. I was actually nervous about it. I get nervous anytime I do big changes to the car, and everything really has seemed to work out. Like nothing has really affected the car negatively. It's been great. Everything has just been in a positive direction. But this thing here is a huge weight savings. It's got this turnbuckle on here that you can tighten up to help raise and lower the bar. So I like to run the bar somewhere between like 10 and 14 millimeters off the ground. I think is pretty much the standard that everybody else is doing. Of course, it's going to depend a lot on ride height and everything else and how you have your car set up, but that's just a good ballpark number to get at, because you know you don't want to be riding your bar and you don't want to make it where it's not being of any use to you at all. So we do have some weight stuck here on the back just for a little bit more of back ballast. I don't really like sticking unnecessary things to the car, but the car runs good the way it is with just a little bit on there. So you're looking at about 2 ounces back here. So I've got all the electronics just kind of arranged in a really, really nice order and fashion here on the car now. I am going to be actually taking them apart again, because I am going to be going ahead and swapping out these wires to 10 gauge wire. It seems like that really is the key with R1. I was kind of like against it. I didn't really think it made that big of a deal, but recently I've seen people actually posting like legitimate data showing the difference, and the job is going to take a little bit of time, but it's not like an impossible job. We'll put it on video so you guys can exactly see what the process is. So that way, if you want to do something like that, you won't be scared. Now, I do plan on putting the big Castle motor back in here and doing a lot of testing and stuff on that, but that's probably going to be in about another week or 2. I want to get more testing in on different tires and things like that. You know, I've had all this stuff and I've pretty much exclusively just been running the Voodoo Reds, just trying to get like, you know, that ET and that mile per hour and just getting the car dialed in. And now that like it's a consistent, you know, on the GNSS 19 whatever 2.0 car, I should be able to see differences in that, what the actual tire and stuff can do. So we're going to be doing that. The tuning video is going to be coming up next. All kinds of great fun here on the channel. So really look forward to some content coming back out Appreciate your guys' patience as I shut the program down for a couple days and just kind of took some time off and relaxed. But yeah, that's the setup. I mean, everything on this car has been touched except for the transmission. I actually have some transmission parts and diff coming, and we're going to rebuild that stuff as well to make sure that is all nice and fresh and clean, and get ready for SummerSlam coming up June 10th and 11th up in Maumee, Ohio. So we will see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much for all of your love and support. Please comment with any questions. Peace.